Left-wing derp Jennifer Welch says that homeschooling is for dumb people and that America has a crazy Christian problem. Before we get into it, my name is Casey. I'm a husband and a father of 4, and I do homeschool my children part-time, and that's part of the reason I know that this lady of the left is completely wrong. If you would, please like the video on the way in. Please, I would love to earn your further support and subscription for somebody who does believe homeschooling is the way forward.
The homeschooling that I was referring to is the crazy Christian homeschooling. It is trickle-down stupidity.
Jennifer Welch's co-host says that she believes that people are crazy if they want their kids around, and that she would have crawled over broken glass to get her kids out of her house when she had young children. And that is part of the overall sentiment of the left, which has led to so many people failing to have children because they believe that they are a burden beyond belief and that they do not want them as part of their lives. And ultimately, this is part of the nihilistic project that is the logical conclusion of leftism, because why would it matter if they're not eternal souls, if they're not Imago Dei, the image bearers of God? Ultimately, they're just another burden that gets away of your free love and free enterprise that these people believe is the highest good in life.
I just think homeschooling is a bad idea from soup to nuts. I don't care if you're a nuclear physicist. I think it's just weird that you want your kids around you all day, every day, and all night. And just the socialization. For me personally, it was that I would have gotten up on my hands and knees and strapped them to my back and crawled to get them to school every day, just to get them where I wasn't. So I don't trust somebody that wants to be with their kids 24/7. I think a lot of dumb people do it because it's just easier. And that's a concern.
The co-host then again says that you just put your kids on a computer for 2 to 3 hours a day, and that is what homeschooling looks like. Now, she might be confused because during COVID, most public schools did engage children in this way, put them on a computer for a few hours a day, and then that was the end of it. So if any real learning took place, it would have been because the child ultimately took it onto themselves to just compel themselves into reading the books and actually learning the material, because even testing while you're online in that fashion can be utilized through AI and other means to just cheat. So she's correct in that there was very little learning going on at that time, but I don't know about other homeschool families in entirety, but my homeschooling involves exactly 0 computers, maybe a learning tool here and there, but we do not open technology because we do not believe that the learning of logic and foundational truth is best found on a computer staring at technology in the homeschool avenue we take.
They put them on homeschool. It's like 2 or 3 hours a day at the computer, and then the kids are going just off to the races. So I just can't think of very many good things about homeschooling.
Jennifer Welch then takes over and says that the individuals who homeschool their children fear critical thinking, and that they are unvaxxed and unjacked, and that this is a Christian fundamentalist project that is leading towards fascism, and that ultimately it is a patriarchal project which is attempting to keep women in the homes. And I would like to say to her that we make an extensive sacrifice so that my wife can be at home with our children, because we, unlike this co-host and unlike Jennifer Welch, believe that there is a limited time, and that our time with our children is a limited commodity that must be fully taken advantage of. And the last thing that I want to do is subject my children to a governmental learning and governmental structure, and really just co-opting the government to try to help raise my children for me. Not only do I not trust them with that article of my life, which I find to be so important, but I wouldn't want to give that to them. They have done nothing to deserve that access to my children. And so in that way, my wife and I have made the sacrifice that she might stay at home. And so I work 2 and 3 jobs at times in order that we would be able to make homeschooling happen financially. Now, we do also send our kids to a private school 2 days a week. So it's a blended program. It's pretty rare. My understanding among homeschool communities is that this hybrid program is pretty rare. It's a Christian school, and so not only do I make the sacrifice of working so much so that my wife can stay home, I also pay not only do I pay taxes for the public school that my children will not attend, but I'm also paying for private school on top of it. So yes, this might seem to her like we're just trying to take the easy route out of this education of our children. Let me tell you forthrightly that it is extremely harder, and it is an extreme sacrifice that I, the patriarch of my family, have made to send my children to a hybrid program, to pay taxes for a school they won't attend, and to keep my wife at home so that she might have the privilege of teaching them.
These are people that fear critical thinking more than anything on the planet, that have to be taught a script of reality, and that they're incapable of critically thinking. They're incapable of deduction skills. And what pisses me off about this the most is how many parents project a script onto their kids. I'm a dumbass, so therefore I'm going to make sure you're a dumbass. I'm a idiot. I made D's, as our caller said, Ellie. She, the dumbest people she knew in college were homeschooling their kids. And so this is trickle down stupidity. This is MAGA on steroids. This is MAHA. This is tradwife. This is unvaxxed and unjacked and all that shit. This is the worst. And this is America has a crazy Christian problem. We have a fundamental crazy Christian problem.
Jennifer Welch then received a lot of backlash online for her rant about public school, and she doubled down. She said that this country has a crazy Christian problem, and she began to blame really the Christian families for the homeschooling problem. She says that those are the ones that they fear, logic, they fear thinking that's aberrant or different from what their worldview is, and so that they're just passing on stupidity, trickle down stupidity, I believe is what she says. And I have news for her yet again. We tried to teach our children the trivium. They will be well versed in logic and rhetoric, and they will be able to refute and rebuke easily. They could even now. They're not even in 5th grade yet, but they could rebuke the ideas of Jennifer Welch on her little program based on the way that we are teaching our kids.
Stand by it. The homeschooling that I was referring to is the crazy Christian homeschooling. It is trickle-down stupidity. You have to be dumber than a box of hot rocks to sit down with your kids and teach them that dinosaurs and man lived on the planet at the same time, that the earth is 5,000 years old, and on and on. But more than anything, the reason they're melting down so much about this is because homeschooling is inherently patriarchal, and it is a huge push of the Fascist Project because it keeps women at home. And over 90% of all homeschooling parents are the mother. They don't want women to be out in the workforce to make their own money and have independence so they can divorce their piece of closet case husbands when they find out. No, they want the women at home, debt broke, homeschooling the kids. This is a patriarchal step of the Fascist project. Now,
really what Jennifer is mostly objecting to is that these women will stay at home, and they might actually be subject to what Betty Friedan in the beginning of the Feminist Project said, that you cannot give women the opportunity to stay home, because if they get that chance, they will take it, because she understood in the beginning of the Feminist Project that that was better. It was more compelling, it was more nurturing, and in line with what women naturally desire psychologically and physically and rigorously. And so in lieu of it being a patriarchal trap, it is actually what is more compelling to women. And the women who stay at home, teach their children, and are parts of married structures report better satisfaction in life consistently in psychological surveys. And so what Jennifer Welch is really afraid of is not that we're moving towards some sort of fascist project, as much as when women are allowed and when we can financially provide that they might do this, that they might stay at home, that they will all realize that it is better. And that's why she's afraid. And if you would like to continue to rebut the ridiculousness of the left, I would love your support in doing that. Thank you for watching.